Welcome back to Tournament Time. After dealing with injuries for almost the entire second half of the season, UK basketball back in the big dance. They will open up the tournament on Friday night in Milwaukee. So let's head back out now to Wisconsin. Sports Director Kendrick Haskins there for us, taking a look at the Cats. How do we look so far, Kendrick?
You know, Brian, the injuries just piled up in Kentucky all season. Even in the SEC tournament, the injury bug bit them there, but they seem to be as 100% as they're going to get heading into the NCAA tournament. Let's take a look at how they got from Nashville to Milwaukee. The injury and who they happen to aren't exactly breaking news. We've known Kirk Carissa and Jackson Robinson were going to be out for a while now, and Lamont Butler has been in and out of the lineup for weeks. Butler missed Friday's game against Alabama after re-injuring that shoulder against Oklahoma, but he says he's ready to go now.
I've been blessed to playing this for my 5th year now. You know, a lot of people can't say that, so definitely a blessing.
The Cats beat Oklahoma in dramatic fashion when, after squandering a double-digit lead late, Otega-Oweh broke his former team's hearts for the second time this season with another buzzer beater.
Obviously, the coach drove the play to get me downhill and make a play. So, you know, after those two plays, I just tried to really make sure I capitalize on this one.
Kentucky met Alabama in the SEC quarterfinals and fell apart in the second half. The Cats were handed their worst loss in SEC tournament history, losing by 29 to the Crimson Tide.
We were a little stymied in terms of playing with in the character of the way that we play. So tons of credit to Alabama and some disappointment in our response to the moment.
That game is now in the past, and it's now win or go home for the Cats.
I think that we're just desperate to make this last as long as we can, and we don't even need that motivation because these guys are so hungry to go win.
As for Kentucky's first-round opponent, the Cats will take on Troy, who won the Sun Belt Conference tournament. The Trojans are having one of their best seasons in program history, winning 23 games, the most since 2004. While they are the 14th seed and know the odds are stacked against them, Troy comes into this game with confidence.
Our thought process is the longer we're in the game, hopefully the more the tide turns and maybe some of those other fans for the other teams start pulling for the Troy Trojans and, you know, make them a little bit tighter, and maybe all of a sudden those shots get a little bit more difficult to hit. You know, they're elite. They've been in the best conference, hands down. They were very, very successful in it. You know, we know the challenge is very, very great.
As we get into our picks, Troy's head coach actually has a good point that the fans that are neutral and don't really have a rooting interest tend to start rooting for the underdog. So if Troy goes on a little bit of a run, Kentucky will have to deal with some fan noise. But in my picks, I am picking the Cats to win this game. I think they just have a little bit too much for Troy, especially inside with Amari Williams and Brandon Garrison. As for UofL, I'm going to pick them to beat Creighton. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a slugfest out there because Creighton is a very good, very physical team coming out of the Big East. We know how physical the Big East Conference can be, but I think the Cards will be able to prevail in that one. Let's go to Rupp Arena to the guy who's going to be covering that game, Dusty Baker. How do you see these games filling out?
Kendrick, and you know, obviously you look at what we're covering right now. We are covering UofL UK. Naturally, you would think we would lean closer to those teams, but I'll give you a reason why I'm picking both of these teams to win as well, because yes, I have UofL defeating Creighton and I have UK defeating Troy. First of all, for UofL, when you look at the numbers specifically, you're talking about a team that's 29th in adjusted offensive efficiency, also 21st in defensive efficiency. For the Jays, they're 34th and 43rd. Those are two critical statistical categories that I look at as far as analyzing rising teams, thanks to Ken Palm, heading into this NCAA tournament. When you look at UK over Troy, you don't just look at the seeds, you look at the metrics overall, and UK is 8th overall offensively. They're 55th defensively. That might be their deficiency down the road. That could be a problem for them. But against the Troy team overall, they're 16th. Troy is 93rd overall in the Ken Palm rankings, and they're 66th ranked defensively as well. So what may be considered the weakness for the Cats is actually their edge potentially on top of their dominant offense heading into this matchup against Troy. I have U of L and I have UK. And of course, to Brian, pretty sure we know that he's going to be going with the blue as well.
Easy choice for me. I never root against my Cats. I'm going with the Cards too, just throwing that out there. It's good to see both teams do well.